Today we are going to watch about Lupin series Season 3 explained. As we saw in Season 3 Episode 6 of Lupin, Jean-Luc Keller finds Claire and Raoul. He barges into their home in the dead of the night. Claire and Raoul hide in the cupboard as Keller looks for them. Claire makes a phone call to her landline, and pretends to inform Raoul that she is at the hospital and that his uncle Detective Martin will be home shortly. Thankfully, Keller leaves. What happened to Mariama? Mariama is at Asane's place and wonders what her son is up to. Asane has finally reunited with his mother in the middle of all this, and has a lot of questions to ask her. Specifically, he asks why she did not join them. She takes him back in time and narrates what problems she faced. She mentions that she was close to securing enough money for the ticket to France, but her boss suddenly decided to cut the pay in half. She then stole the money but was arrested. She was ashamed of her deed and to face her son. She also said that she became a real thief after she got out of prison. She missed them every day. Claire frantically calls Alex and asks him to come over immediately. She says that she knows Alex is Asane. Raoul is happy to see his father alive. Asane takes Raoul and Claire to his place, and whilst there they meet Mariama as well. The scene shifts to 1998 when Keller takes Bruno and Asane on the heist on the day of the Football World Cup final. Asane tries to get out of the situation but Keller threatens him again. In the present day, Asane tricks a peer-checking official and successfully steals a jet from under his nose. Asane is researching on a Minister of the Interior who can get Ben out of jail. Claire and his mom announce that they will get Ben through proper means by hiring a lawyer. Asane's mother objects to Asane robbing or cheating the minister. Until then the family will be safe tucked away in a safe house. He promises to wrap up a few things and to leave in 2 days. Is the robbery a success? Does Asane manage to break into the safe? Asane's mother asks him to promise to not do any more robberies or heists as he has a family to support now. The scene cuts to Asane in an old military man's disguise. He pretends to little Ollie who served in the war with the colonel, the person whom Asane is visiting in a disguise. The two indulge in some nostalgia. Asane keeps up with his military personnel disguise and enters a gathering where he meets the Minister of the Interior. He speaks highly of his services and looks like a true patriot. As the medal ceremony is underway, Asane finds his way to the private chambers of the house. As he is sneaking his way in, security personnel catches him. There is a scuffle in the adjacent hallway and the guard goes to check. Asane successfully sneaks into the minister's office but the guard finds out and issues an alert. The scene then runs parallel to the present and 1998 as Asane tries to break into a safe, after earlier preparing to rob the jewelry store. Asane and Diop sneak into the store and talk about the match on their way. There is one security official at the desk but he is also watching the match. Asane succeeds in the present day, and exits without anyone detecting. However, back to 1998 the alarm goes off in the jewelry store as Asane and Bruno run away with the loot. They get into the car and Keller drives them off. Does Asane and his mother manage to get away? In the present, Asane and his mother are wading through the tunnels but are also being followed. The jet that Asane had stolen earlier was just for this. They escape from the underground waterway. After they successfully exit, Asane calls the minister and threatens to leak information about his contacts with the illegal traders. Asane refuses the money offer and asks the minister to get a friend out of jail. Manon is let out of jail and Asane ambushes her as she is walking away. He asks her to rat out Keller but she refuses. She brings up the past when Asane gave information about Keller and Manon. Asane then reveals what really happened in 1998. Asane and Bruno did not take the emeralds as Keller had expected. He loses his cool and drives off rashly than he already was. A policeman follows them on a bike. Keller asks Bruno to take the gun and shoot. Asane dissuades him but after pressure from Keller, Bruno shoots. They end up in a car accident, and Bruno is visibly shocked. Back to the present, Asane justifies his actions to Manon. He asks her to call Keller and arrange for a meeting, which she does. Asane and his family share a warm dinner and indulge in some good time with each other. After his family is in bed, he takes one long look at them before leaving for his meeting with Keller, Guidera receives a message from Asane. It contains a picture and the word Grammaton. Guidera looks to decode the message and succeeds. He calls Sophia and informs her Asane contacted him and that he knows the location of the Black Pearl. What happens at the meeting between Keller and Asane? Sophia does not believe Guidera. She in turn informs Guidera that she got a tip about the Black Pearl and that a person named Keller has it. He somehow convinces Sophia to follow his lead. Keller arrives at the meeting location and Asane is waiting for him there. Asane tells her that Manon betrayed Keller. He tells Keller to hand over the Black Pearl, but Keller attempts to hit Asane. As the police cars approach, Asane tells Keller that he has tipped them off already. The scene cuts to 1998. Asane and Bruno are in shock and very injured. As the police cars approach, Asane puts the gun in Keller's hand and leaves with Bruno. The detective tells an injured Keller that he will face 25 years in prison. Back to the present. Asane and Keller are arguing over that 1998 robbery. Keller holds a grudge against Asane for running away. Asane says they were just kids and yet he used them. Meanwhile, the police storm the place. Where's the Black Pearl? Asane asks Keller to hand over the Black Pearl and he eventually does so. As Keller leaves, he is surrounded by the police. Keller says that Asane has the pearl now, but Guidera runs over to find Asane and sees him standing and surrendering. Guidera asks Asane about the pearl. In a short flashback, it is revealed that Asane lied to two women that he got stood up and hands over a rose to them. Bruno intercepts the women and asks for the rose. He says he was the date but he missed him. As it turns out, the Black Pearl is in the rose. In 1998, Asane calls Claire from a local pub. He apologizes to her and asks her to come away with him. She waits for him. The scene changes to the present. Claire, Mariama, Raoul and Jacques are waiting for Asane. How does Lupin Season 3 end? Asane tells Claire through a letter that he has turned himself to the police. He hopes that she and Raoul would lead a good life without him. He expresses his regrets in the letter. Asane turns himself in, and agrees to a confession but puts forth 3 conditions. 1 is to release Ben, 2nd is to give him a letter and the 3rd is something to read while in prison. A warden hands an envelope to Asane, which happens to be from a prisoner few cells away. The envelope contains a few lines from one of Lupin's stories. The man is one of the main victims of Asane's past robberies.